Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Camera Life podcast. It's the 21st of August, 2025, and this is episode 109 of the Camera Life podcast, proudly brought to you by Lucky Straps. If you are looking for a premium, handmade, customizable leather camera strap, head to luckystraps.com. Oh my God, the music just started again. Well, that's embarrassing, because there hasn't been a show yet when Justin wasn't here that I haven't stuffed up the audio in some way. Yeah, this is, like I said, head to luckystraps.com. Check out the straps we have on offer there. They're handmade, Aussie made in Bendigo, Victoria. And we'll get that out to you. And use code Greg at the checkout for a healthy discount. Let's move on with the show. Audio issues aside. Now you'll notice today there's absolutely no one here from Lucky Straps apart from myself. They've all abandoned me. Jim's having a sleep in. Justin's somewhere in New Zealand with Yelena. So I've had to rope in some really desperate photographers who just wanted some airtime. I joke, of course. Co-hosting with me today is Dennis Smith and Jason Lau. G'day, lads.
Hey. Good.
Good to have you guys back again. Always great to see you. You guys are becoming regulars, which is lovely. But of course, being a Thursday morning Camera Life podcast episode, we have a guest with us. And I managed to snag Curtis Graham, who's an automotive motorsport photographer. G'day, Curtis.
Hey, how you going?
Good, mate. Great to have you on the show. Curtis and I have known each other for a couple of years now. And we seem to just bump into each other at photography events. Which is, I guess, not that unusual. Hey?
Mostly Fuji,
yeah. Funny that. I don't know why. Look, before we dive into having a chat, a deep dive into Curtis's story, Curtis, can you just give us like the 60-second version of who you are, what you shoot?
Put me on the spot. Okay, cool. So 60-second version. I
did pre-warn you.
Yeah, no, I know. I didn't think about the answer. I thought I'd just waffle, but I love shooting cars. I love racing. I like nerding out on camera gear, other things. I work in IT and 9 to 5. But yeah, just sort of try and chase fast cars and take photos of them. Not even fast cars, slow cars going as fast as they possibly can too. So I'm an avid enthusiast of the Honda Civic. So that's about it. I own far too many cars. It's a terrible habit, but my life is very cars and cameras at the moment.
And look, you're amongst great company here, because for those of you listening along or watching along live with us right now, as you may or may not know, Dennis Smith is often involved with automotive photography and incorporating automotive photography with his light painting prowess. And Jason Lau is an avid motorcycle fan and is often out shooting bikes as well. So you're in good company, Curtis.
Love it.
You might actually get grilled, but
that's fine.
No promises. But look, before we dive into that, let's welcome the chat. Great to see everybody. Philip Johnson, first as usual. Philip, thank you for showing up again. John Pickett, morning, John. Great to see you. David Mascaro, hey from the Bay Area. G'day, David. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, David. We brought up some of your images from your San Francisco street walk last week. We brought those up on Monday night. So if anyone hasn't seen that episode, go back and check out the Random Photography Show, episode 108. Nick Fletcher's in the house. Hola, Nick. LTK Photo, good afternoon. And Nick Fletcher, yo, Dennis, looking sexy.
It's all for you, Nick. I knew you would be here.
Always for Nick. And Philip Johnson, is that a record? 3 minutes in and the Fuji got mentioned. Yeah, it might be a record, but either way, I'm earning cash off every time anyone says it. So that's not true. It's really not true.
Fuji. Anyway.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah. All right. That's the formalities and the housekeeping out of the way. Let's talk a little bit more about you, Curtis Graham. What we'd like to do here, we'd like to roll back the clock and get a bit of an impression or an understanding of your earlier inspirations how you got into the world of photography when you first picked up a camera, and when you realized that you could actually make something of it. So just give us a little bit of a bit of a background check here on where it all began.
Yeah, so I think it began actually I think it's actually both of my hobbies at the moment sort of relate to things that my father was doing when I was a kid. So,
Yep.
you know, one day Dad said he wanted to buy a cool camera, and I can't remember. I was probably like maybe 12, 11, and he bought a nice 550D. In fact, I still have it right there. And he picked it up. He took some photos here and there, and I ended up sort of stealing that camera. And I think I've told this story a few times, but I just kept picking it up. I just kept taking it with me places, and I just kept taking photos of things, however bad they were. But I just really enjoyed it. There was a photo that I took. I think the first sort of wow factor for me when it came to photography is I took a photo of my old family dog in black and white in the monochrome mode on your Canon, because I didn't quite know how to use RAWs back then. And it came out as a JPEG, and I sent it to my dad, and yeah, it was like it had some nice bokeh. It was composed quite well, and I was like, wow, this is actually really cool. And he loved it so much that he had it as his wallpaper for his phone for tens, if not still has it as his wallpaper on his phone. So for me, that was basically how I started in photography, and that was I don't know what my influences really were. I just sort of liked taking it with me. I was going to a lot of like drift events and things like World Time Attack Challenge, and started up at Eastern Creek. So I took it there, or I took a photo of an NSX that I thought was really cool. So yeah, basically that's sort of how I got started.
Yeah, cool. And so with your dad being getting this camera and allowing you to steal it from time to time, were your parents creative people? Were they business-minded people? How did they influence your creative process, if any way?
I don't know. I think my dad's pretty creative, but also my dad worked at a car dealership, and he would bring home the latest Toyota sports car, or Hondas and stuff like that, and that's sort of where the automotive side of things comes from. But in terms of creative, my parents both into like their music, like quite hardcore. Like they're very into rock and roll and punk rock and things like that. My dad was a bit of a punk back in the day, so was my mum. So yeah, that's sort of how it all came about. I'd say yes, they're creative.
Yep.
I don't know if I've ever seen any creative outlets from either of them besides my dad picking up a camera, but I would suggest that they are.
Fair enough. Okay. And so in those early days, what camera did you say you were running around with? A 90D?
550D.
Ah, okay.
Amazing.
Good.
My first camera ever was a 450D, so we're in the same. I still use it. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't think I've picked it up in a while. I think I just hacked the firmware once, just so you could do like raw 4K whatever.
Yeah. Wow.
So, how does that work? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, no, I can't remember what it's actually called, but you can with all the old Canons, you can hack the firmware to unlock new features out of it.
Wow.
Yeah,
never heard of that.
That's the IT
never
side of me coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting thing. I remember once I wrote an article for Shock Kit, and it wasn't about hacking firmware or software in camera. It was about creating glitches by impacting the code in the image file. It's probably still on Shock Kit now, but and it was all about just highlighting and cutting out whole sections of code randomly to see what the effect was on the image. So it could just be a standard photo, but you'd create all these glitches because the code couldn't read it. So like it couldn't work out what it was supposed to show, and it would show odd things. That was a lot of fun.
There it is in the chat. It was Magic Lantern.
Magic Lantern.
Yeah, it was Magic Lantern. Yeah, I hacked a 5D. I had a 5D Mark II and hacked it for the same thing. It would literally just unlock it. It was like you'd found this magic master key to just. It was wild, exactly. And it was an incredible thing to play with.
Very cool. Yeah. Speaking of the chat, we've got a new player in town. Bum Pudding. Love your profile name. Is that someone you? That's obviously someone you know.
I'm going to up here and say some of my friends are absolute degenerates. I do apologize in advance.
And then I bet he drives a tough
D-Series Civic. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I
nice.
do. Love it.
Welcome to the channel, Bum Pudding. Make sure you like and subscribe. Helps us out a lot. Okay, so early days, Curtis, you're running around with a Canon that you still own, which is amazing. What was sort of the evolution for it to become more of than just I'll grab the camera every now and then to go out? When did you realize that this had really set in and this was something for you?
Not till many years later. Like I sort of put it down for a bit. I was playing in a metal band and I was getting out to gigs a lot, and I started doing a lot of gig photography, and the 550D in low light and gig photography didn't really cut the mustard. So I ended up going out and buying myself an A6300, I think it was at the time. Yep. This little Sony with a 50mm 1.8 and
cracking camera.
Awesome camera.
Yeah.
Like even to this day, you can get amazing results out of that thing.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's sort of where I put it down. I started going to gigs, and then I picked it back up, going to shows and sort of taking photos of some of the other bands that were playing at the same time. And then, I don't know, I just sort of started taking it everywhere because it was such a small, light, compact little setup. And like I could sort of get away with it. I did a couple of overseas trips and did the whole touristy thing. And I found myself always taking photos, especially when I was in Japan, of really cool cars. And I was like, "Oh, this is quite good." Or having cars in different settings, and especially in Japan, it's a pretty busy sort of area, and you can get some pretty amazing shots with just cars that are parked on the side of the road. So from there,
I figure you could take a photo of a road, like just pointing straight down at the road in Japan. It would still look like a work of art.
Yeah.
Something about Japan. There's some sort of magic sauce there, some sort of unicorn thing they've got going on.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you photograph in Japan. It's just, oh my God, it's compelling.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Not to discredit your work.
No. I knew that I wasn't great at that point. So I just took it with me and sort of just kept taking photos and carried it everywhere. And then I think it kind of changed when I think I moved to, I think it was when I moved to Melbourne actually about 4 years ago. And I just started going to, I didn't know anyone. I just started going to random events and taking photos of race cars because I just walk all day and just take photos of these cars. And I would, I don't know how, but one day I was like, oh, I wonder if I slow the shutter speed down and follow a car and see what happens. It's like, oh, that's an actual technique. And I started researching these techniques, and it sort of just developed from there. And then, I had people saying, hey, can you send me the photos of your car, of my car? And be like, yeah, sure, no worries. Here, just dump the folder to them after I've edited them and started playing around with Lightroom and different effects. And I was just trying to change things up a little bit. And apparently people liked the results. So and then people started saying, oh, how much do you charge? How much do you charge? I'm like, man, just take them. Like, I'm happy for my work just to be out there. I don't care about money. That's not why I do it. I just want to create cool stuff.
Foolish
boy. Look. We'll get to that.
Yeah. And so when did that flip happen where you went, no, don't worry, I'm just doing it. I love doing it. I'm happy to do it. Don't need to pay me. Talk to me, or us, I should say, about that flip to when you went, oh, hang on, actually, I need to start making some cash off this.
Yeah. So funnily enough, again, I moved to Melbourne. I'd been taking a lot of photos of cars at events and stills and on the racetrack and things like that. And I was part of my Port Melbourne Focus residency group. You know, like how you like your little local area Facebook group.
Yep.
And someone was actually asking for, you know, a family portrait of their kids, and I'm like, oh, I can do that. Like if it's a weekend or whatever, it's just maybe like an extra little bit of cash for me. Cool. Did the shoot with her, met up, had coffee, and she says, oh, well, I'm a publicist at GM. And I'm like, oh. She's like, I want to get you on a couple of shoots. I've looked at all your automotive work and I really like it. I was like, okay, what does that mean? She's like, well, we'll fly you up to Brisbane. You just need to get a few shots for the paper and all that kind of stuff as we're launching this car. And I'm like, okay. Wow. It's like, charge me whatever you would normally charge. And I'm like, I don't know what I normally charge. So I sort of asked a few friends and was like, hey, what do I do for this? And yeah, so ended up doing the launch for Silverado, the 1500 and the new 2500.
Yep.
And that's the point where I was like, oh, I can actually do this. This isn't about how. I mean, the photos have to be quality. Don't get me wrong, but it's more about the people you meet along the way and where they can sort of push you. So
I think it's interesting that that I don't believe in fate, but that you met someone doing a completely different gig, and that they just happened to be the sort of person that you needed to hear from at that point in your career. It's really fortuitous and quite amazing. I just want to ask the lads. So, Jason, do you remember your first gig or when that flip happened from, taking shots for mates to? And I know you grew up old school like me in a dark room. Do you remember that first gig when you received a paycheck for it?
It was probably straight out of uni where I shot my first wedding, and that's normally how a lot of photographers get started. My first, tens of jobs were all on film. So I actually shot my first wedding and I just handed them the film. I to this day have never seen those photos. it was like,
oh, wow.
It was like a super budget wedding out in Bendigo. And I shot, 6-8 rolls of film, which back then was a lot of photos. Like, you get 200-300 photos. And I was like, well, here's a film. I'll see you later. Have a good life. And I got my first paycheck from that, and, and that was my first job.
Wait, so you didn't even develop them?
Nope, I just because they were so low budget. They were so low budget. They're like, we can afford for your service. That's it. I was like,
that's awesome. That's so cool.
Wow, it's like handing over your memories.
That is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from that point, you realize that actually I can. I mean, you obviously already knew it because you studied photography in university. Just out of interest, Jason, during your studies, was the business of photography a part of that?
It was a small part of it, and to be honest, it's a bit of a challenging thing because I teach commercial photography now. I teach at Collards College, and I teach how to be a business and basically how to make a living from doing photography. But when you're 18, even the concept of being employed is a foreign thing. In terms of like, oh, I gotta be entrepreneurial. And this is probably, and this you'll hear me rant about this a lot. I feel like the education system needs a bit of a revamp because when you're a creative, you're told you go down the creative path.
Yeah.
And if you're good at numbers, you go down the business accounting path.
Yeah.
No one told me how fun running a business would be.
Yeah.
And how fun how creative entrepreneurship could be. So when in my college days, I entered my college days going, same thing as you, Curtis. I love it. I don't care how much money I make. And now I say to my students, if you don't care about how much money you make, in 5 years' time, you won't be doing the thing that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And it's just part and parcel of knowing your worth and then knowing that what you do creates value for other people and that you should be handsomely compensated for it because you are actually creating value for other people's lives. So that was a big lesson for me, and I think it's something that is a little bit undertaught in both education and life. And here's my last thing. The last thing I'll say about this: the majority of advice you'll get about creativity are from non-creators, and they are terrible, terrible advice. So
Well, that's good advice.
Lord.
Hey, so Dan, what about you? I see you shaking your head back there. What about your first paid gig?
Look, a giant.
If you can remember back that far.
Well, yeah, a giant rabbit hole has just been opened. I'm going to try not to go down it, but I do, mate. Look, it's funny. Like,
just rim it. Just rim it.
Yeah, okay, I'll rim it. Thanks. Don't say that. You're getting.
No, sorry. Yeah, I just realized.
Yeah. Nick Fletcher will be getting all excited.
Yeah,
look, photography came to me very late in life. Like I bought my first, 450D when I was 36, and so my background before that was in really high-end corporate sales and communications and marketing. And so photography, a very quick segue through what you were just saying is I learned really fast that having a good photography business and being paid for it had almost nothing to do with the images being stunning. If they were, that was a byproduct. I just learned really quickly to be a good communicator, a good human, fun, make it easy, be there when I say I'm going to be there, all that really basic fundamental stuff. But yes, I do remember the first time I ever wrote an invoice, and it was hilariously funny. And the job was wild. But more importantly, I remember the first time I ever wrote an invoice that was related to my fine art stuff, so my light painting. And when I remember the day that I realized that was an actual business, that I was making stuff that had value both artistically and commercially in the genre of fine art that I was working in. So I remember that's the thing that gives me goosebumps, is when I think about that side of things. And
I guess for a lot of photographers is when your work is recognized as art. It's like, I've always wished someone would say that. I've always hoped someone would see my work as creative and artistic, and I'm not just a product.
Well, it's really powerful, and I think when I was looking through Kurt's work, in coming for here. There's so many car photographers. Automotive photography is it's one of those genres, like a lot of stuff now, where anyone that has a camera and has even the slightest interest in cars or bikes goes out and if you open that algorithm in social media of car photography, you just get absolutely obliterated with gazillions of images. The line between it being something that is like going out and making images and it being a compelling automotive image that has not only artistic merit but also commercial value is, if you can cross that line and write an invoice for making a car image, that's really special. And when you talk about being flown up to Brisbane to do that work, you don't end up there unless you are a good communicator. You're good at listening to what they want. You understand the brief. You understand the commercial viability of the images you're creating, and that's a strong thing. And I agree that it's something that's probably not taught enough. In this day and age. And the last thing I'll say on that is, the reality is in 2025, if you're not making really good work and you're not an exceptionally good communicator and have some entrepreneurial spirit, you may as well go get a job at the chicken shop, because you ain't going to be making photos for money.
Yeah, that's sound advice. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
So back to you, Curtis. Now, you don't just take photos of cars. Let's talk a little bit about how you actually got into car racing, into automotive racing. Where did that all begin?
Actually, funnily enough, the guy who got me into it was visiting, and he came around and had a beer last night. So basically, I've always liked cool cars, whatever. I've had an interest in motorsport for quite some time. I tried the whole drifting thing. It ended up costing me far too much. I was like, no, this isn't for me. I basically ruined my brand new 2012 GT86 back in the day, and I was like, nah, drifting's not for me. I'm just gonna have a cool car, have it look nice, blah blah blah. So fast forward a few years, I end up buying a little MX5 for dirt cheap, and I was like, okay, I might take it to the track. And I was getting sort of pushed a little bit by some of my friends. One of my other mates ran a tire shop. He's like, oh, I'll put these tires on it. Like, they'll be really good if you want to ever go track it. And I was like, oh, track it? No, not really. Then one of my mates who I grew up with in Sydney bought a GTR when we were in Sydney, when we were in high school, sorry. So he bought this R32 GTR for, I think it was $8,000 at the time. He recently had that thing valued at like 70 or 80. So
yeah,
he got very lucky with that thing.
I've been watching. So I was just going to say, I've been watching. I've watched them for years. Oh gosh, who are they? Marty Mulholland and
Marty Carmods.
Marty Carmods. Yeah. Look, I'm not a car guy at all, but this is Marty Carmods. Is an example of a YouTube channel that is done so exceptionally well that they just hook in people because of the delivery of their content, the natural order of things that they do. You know, they're really down to earth Aussie guys, and they take the piss out of each other and themselves, and they just love what they do. And I don't dig cars at all. I don't even own a car, but their content is so compelling. Like, it's a really great example of you know, content done well. If you are luring in people that have absolutely zero interest in your core, in your core function, you know,
that's probably been a main inspiration for me as well. Like, I've been watching those guys. Like, a new episode comes out, it's just like it's second nature for me to just watch it. You know, But my mate Steven, who bought a GTR, came out and said, "Hey, do you want to go for a track day?" And I'm like, "Yeah, all right, let's go." So we ended up going out to Luddenham. I think it was pretty much just after it had opened, and ever since then I've been hooked. I slung my little MX-5 around with the nice semi-slick tires that my mate had pushed me to put on it, and I had an absolute ball, and it was so much fun. So I haven't stopped since.
And so what sort of racing, because again, don't know much about the racing world, what sort of like, is there a class that you race in? Is it an open competition? Tell us a little bit more about the structure of it.
So until recently, I wasn't doing anything competitive, more social, just sort of enjoying, like, going to a track day with some mates, hanging out afterwards and having beers. Like, that's what we do. And we'd race, or we'd go around the track. We don't really call it racing unless you're door to door. We sort of just call it a track day. Long story. Anyways, so we would just do it socially, sort of for bragging rights, just who could set fastest laps. And a big influence in that sort of space was Ying, Tom, and Cam at Nugget Nationals, and those guys would just put on casual sort of track days for a 1.5 litre class and below. Doesn't matter what your times are, just come have fun. So that's sort of how I got into it. But more recently, I've been trying to push myself and be a little bit more competitive. And I recently did, a couple of budget enduros. I did a 24-hour endurance race at Malala recently.
Wow.
And been competing in D-Series Cup. So, just still very grassroots and very amateur, but a little bit more competitive.
Sounds like a lot of fun. And so you're still racing the MX-5?
No, so I've gone to dark. I own an MX-5 still. I still have.
How many cars do you own currently, Curtis?
4.
Oh,
5.
that's
I've downsized. There was a point where my whole street was lined with my cars. It was
that's classic.
Yeah,
like, I was getting people coming around saying, "Hey, you gonna move any of these things?" Like, I'm like, okay, I think it might be time to sell. And that I wanted to put some budget into building a proper race car. So I was like, it's time to sell some of these. But yes, I have a bad addiction, and I still sit there. I pick up my phone. I'm like, oh, what's on Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah.
What can I buy and hot up?
Actually, I don't know if you remember, Jason, but Curtis was at the Fuji X Half launch with Alpaca, where we caught up. And while we were there, he kept looking at his phone, going, "Oh, I've got to go pick up these wheels." Every time I see Curtis, he's got to go pick up.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
And then like the next day, I ended up taking photos of that car because I bought them for my other Honda Civic, and I ended up taking photos and doing a nice little photo shoot with those wheels on the car. Looked good.
And so, is there a reason why you've stooped so low to drive a Honda Civic?
You hit me well with that one. So I still have the MX-5. Well, I have an MX-5. I have a 2017 or no 2018. I can't remember the latest one, the ND. But the Honda Civics, like, they're cheap.
Yeah,
there's so many parts available for them.
Mm-hmm.
You can, there's so many different ways you can take them. They have an awesome rear suspension setup for the Golden Era ones anyway, which a lot of hatchbacks are just like a solid beam. These are actually independent, so they're actually quite capable track cars. And there's so many engines and things you can put in them, and they're just fun.
Yeah.
Just fun.
Yep. I think the boys on the car mods call them nuggets.
They are nuggets. Absolutely. I'm not going to ever defend that, ever dispute that. Sorry, but yeah, they're so much fun.
So is that the Civic's it's a front wheel drive car though, hey?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, wicked. That's amazing. That's really interesting. That's a super compelling track day car. I mean, ultra fun, hey? I mean, lightweight. It would be like driving. Back in the day, I had minis, like original minis,
yes,
and
exactly.
It was, it makes me think about that, right? So small, lightweight. When you strip those things out, they weigh nothing. Hey?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's wild. If you were if you had $100K budget, and you could go out and build anything. But it had to be in that class, right? In that small capacity class, what would it be? Would it be a Civic? Would you build a $100K Civic, or would you go to something else?
If it was for a track car, I'd probably still build a Civic. Yeah,
nice.
Maybe an MX-5, because they're quite capable too, or just out of the box buy a half decent Porsche, like with that sort of budget. But
there you go, nice.
No, I think I think there's something to say about the Honda Civic. It's an everyday commuter car, but like you can hot them up, and there's a cult following for them. Even Honda Jazzes people race. Like, I'm a big advocate of the Honda Jazz. I love the Honda Jazz. I think the Honda Jazz is the best car ever.
Yeah, amazing. All right, photography question. I got a photography question. Let's bring it back to the glass. Hey, so racing. Spending time at the track and being around the cars, does it like open this door to access to heaps of stuff to shoot? Like, does it help lubricate that pathway?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it absolutely does. So you sort of what I seem to do is I try and build, like, for an event, so to speak. The most recent one I did was Steeds in the Trees. So what I did was I had trackside access, everything like that. So I'd go out, I'd try and take as many, like, this was like a 2-3 day thing. So every day, just go out and take as many photos as I possibly could. Get home. It took me like a month to go through them all, edit them all, curate them all, put them all up into a big gallery. Then I would just put on the event chat or the event groups, just like, hey guys, like, this is who I am. This is what I do. If you ever want, stills of your car, sorry, not on the racetrack, we can organize something. Like, here's some of my other work, blah blah blah. Have at it. Enjoy the photos. If you want any more photos, if you want any more photos of your car from the day, I might have some. Just ping me and let me know. And that sort of laid back attitude helps a lot, because people open that dialogue and just starts the conversation. Where I can go, oh yeah, man, I got plenty more of your car. Here are some of the photos. Like, oh yeah, these are awesome, sweet as. Next time you're up, let's do a shoot.
That's a great way to approach it. Hey, like, rather than attacking straight away with, here's a low res, do you want to buy a high res?
I'm not about that.
No way. And there's some gorgeous stuff in this feed. Like, I love all the I'm a Kiwi, and back in the day, you could import Japanese cars with no duties. So because we didn't build cars there, and so you could buy, you name it, like any Japanese Porsches, anything European, you could bring straight out of Japan into New Zealand at stupid cheap prices. And so this stuff, I connect with all this stuff. You're very broad skill set with your photography, mate. Like the humans, the cars, the band stuff, they cross over really well.
I just like shooting, but I gravitate to cars, but I just like shooting. I was doing like a series, which I really, really sort of need to pick back up. And it was kind of like a street photography series that I was doing for myself, where I'd pick a camera, a lens, and I'd just go for a walk on a weekend, and whatever I got, I posted.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, like it's probably been done a million times, but like, it's so much fun. Like I need to actually keep doing that, because that was a lot of fun. So I just like shooting. I just like, even if I just walk down the street and try and find something to shoot, I generally, luckily, sometimes get a car, but street stuff's good fun.
Do you find that, because one of the things, I haven't shot a lot of cars, but I've shot enough in the style that I shoot in to know that they're really hard.
Being very humble, Dennis. You're being very humble.
Cars are very hard to photograph, right? Because they're a nightmare. They're shiny. They're curvaceous. It's all about highlights and shadows and spectral highlights. Do you find that shooting cars makes you a better photographer in other genres, and vice versa? Like, do you find that crossover?
I think so. Yeah, actually, learning. We'll strip it right back.
Yeah,
learning what a polarizer does. The easiest thing to learn what a polarizer does if you shoot cars.
Yeah,
you physically see what it's what's happening, and it's yes, in that aspect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess so. I'm trying to think of it. I'm trying to think about. Yeah, I guess it does, because your attention to detail on certain. So you're focusing on a certain element, not the car as a whole, but maybe that rear third shot or whatever it may be. It helps you sort of composition. I think actually, yes, you're right. Composition. It has helped me with a lot shooting cars. When I was learning photography, someone said something to me that and because I was older when I learned, I was just like a sponge. Just no one could say anything to me that wasn't. And someone said to me, they were looking at my work and said, "Yeah, one day you'll learn to see the light." And I was like, okay, whatever.
Hippie.
And stick it back into here, and then went away. And then it was like, I remember the day. It was like, boom. I started to see everything. Like, I would be walking around without a camera, just going, "Oh my gosh, highlights, shadows, soft light, hard light, or whatever." And I think if you challenge yourself to shoot stuff that is really hard, it makes you a better photographer across different genres, and you, because you see shit differently, right? It's and you learn stuff. I had never thought to shoot a car with a polarizer. Here we go. You've taught me something.
Yeah, CPL. Just slap it on. Incredible. You can make a terrible paint job look pretty good.
It's a great tip.
But I shoot in the dark. So
yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I was going to ask Jason. You shoot a lot of motorbikes, and you ride a bike yourself. Do you find that work supports, inspires, gives you creative insight to when you shoot your fashion, portraiture, product stuff?
Oh, I actually love both the contrast both genres offer me. Like, I'm that particular kind of creative where my people ask me all the time, what kind of stuff do you like shooting? And in my mind, it's just the next thing I want to shoot, whatever that is. I love that variety. Like some people really thrive on honing in on a craft. I just like going, what haven't I done yet, or what haven't I done today? And that really gets me out of bed. That's why I love fashion, because fashion, I can shoot something really high end, really kind of dark, really light, really soft, really hard, really kind of edgy, and that's fun. With motorcycles, I love everything about it. I know this sounds really trash, but like I got into it. I got into motorcycling because I wanted to learn how to ride a scooter in case I ever went to Bali and I didn't want to hurt myself. That's really it. I actually had
wow.
I had no interest in motorcycles whatsoever. It was just a thing with two wheels.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got it, and it bit me hard, especially when I got into the custom bike wheel. So it was just layers and layers of creativity upon creativity. You know, even just a stock bike, someone has created that, and there's a real beauty in that. But then you can change that. You can alter. You can take a bit off, put a bit on, change the color, whatever it is, and then there was the culture around it, and there's so many cultures around it: the sport bike world, the vintage bike world, the Harley world, the chopper world, the high powered bike, the little scooter world, the little Vespa kind of stuff. Like there's just so much that my little creative brain just got lost in it for a long time. You know, inspired by like builders like from Deus who created cafe races and things like that. And I just wanted to get into it. So the photography part really just happened just because it was from websites like Zen Garage and and things like that, where I saw beautiful photography, automotive stuff, which I felt so disconnected from. I thought, I think I want to do that. I remember doing my first motorcycle shoot for a magazine, and I didn't even know what I was looking at. I was like, can you tell me what's good about this bike that I should point my camera at? Like, is it the exhaust? Is it the I can see it now, but I can remember the first time going, I know it's generally cool, but I want to know how it's specifically cool. But once you got into it, there was like I can see I go, oh, I like those rims. I like the way that seat bolts onto the fender, and there's so much creativity in it. But above all, I think I love shooting the culture around it as well. So the bike is one thing, but it's also the people, and that's actually, Curtis, I see that a lot in your work, that you remember to capture the people, and I think that's so important because without the people, you know, I judge it. If the people were crap in the industry, I wouldn't be in it. And the thing is, I've gone into it. You know, people think, you know, there's a bunch of like angry, you know, antisocial bikers out there, and every bike rider I meet is just a cool person I want to talk to, and that's kind of also what got me into it. And yeah, so in shooting a lot of my stuff, I've actually really enjoyed blending the fashion aesthetic into my motorcycle stuff, into my love of lighting, and I feel like my work has a place. You know, at first I had to go through that imposter syndrome of like, oh, I'm shooting bikes that don't really belong. But now I kind of go, well, this is actually my voice in it. I see the styling, the lighting, and I just fall in love with the whole thing. Whereas sometimes some photographers, automotive photographers, can love the vehicle or whatever so much, they actually forget how to make the shot a little bit better. They just go, oh, that's a cool car, or that's a cool bike. Here's a photo of it in midday light, you know, in front of a palm tree, and we're like, well, that's doesn't really do anything for me as a shot. You know, for me, if I can create a shot and someone who has absolutely no interest in automotive whatsoever can love it, then I consider my job done.
Yeah,
it's like Greg saying before that he loves the mighty car mods, right? Like not even a car guy, but is into it. It's a really, you can enjoy a photograph because it's an amazing photograph. If the byproduct is that it's something that has commercial viability, that's just like a super bonus, right?
And it's true, and you know, it's tricky. I've always had trouble, you know, with shooting inanimate objects, but when you add people into the mix or the human element into it, it adds so much more context, and especially if they're people that are genuinely involved in the product, or
have you guys seen RioCam? Have you heard of RioCam? Jason probably has.
No.
He's bringing like the supercar poster back, which and adds
on the gram. It's RioCam.
Yeah. If you look at his stuff, it's exactly what you're talking about.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Hello.
Awesome stuff.
Okay, so looking at this stuff makes me think about something, and it leads into a question I've had burning on my list of questions that I've got here for you. What makes a compelling photograph, full stop, right? And what is a good photograph? And it leads into a question I have for you about how to get into making good photographs. So for me, I look at this guy's gram. I'm not zooming in looking to pixel peep it. I'm not looking to sort of, all I know is I've got a 12 images on my screen that this guy's photographed, and I want to go see more, right? Like it's just instantly compelling. It's instantly interesting. Because I'm a commercial photographer, I kind of know what it takes to make those images, but it doesn't matter. When I think about so my question for you, mate, is around, let's say there's someone watching this now, listening to us talk. We've all done a little bit of car stuff, and they want to get into it. I really love the way you were describing before about how you approach it from this really beautiful place of going out, making images, sharing the images with people, gives you a bit of access. You get to make images. They get some nice images. What's your best bit of advice for, say, someone, it doesn't matter whether they're young or old, someone who wants to have a crack at making car images? What's a good way to get into it? Like, where do you start? Walking down the street, finding nice cars and making images, or going, like, what do you reckon? What is a good way to get good at making car images?
It's the same premise as any sort of hobby. It's practice. It's what we like to call seat time. I think the easiest way to get access to an interesting car to shoot is go to, your local car meets. Just talk to people. Be approachable. If you see something you like, just go, hey man, would you mind like just moving that just over here, so in this like little bit of light here, so we can take a cool photo. I think it would be really nice. I'll send it to you. Just be approachable, network a little bit, get down to local events that are like local motorsport events. Like for example, one of the guys that I absolutely love his work is George from Ignite Image, and he shoots F1, but he also comes down and shoots our little 1.5 nuggets and makes them look good.
Amazing.
So,
that's cool.
And like I love that attitude, and he's always been like, I always message him, hey, when are you getting me to shoot the F1 with you? When are you getting me to shoot F1? He knows that I'm pulling his leg, but at the same time, I've really looked up to him and how he approaches work, and sort of, it doesn't matter what you shoot, just keep shooting, and just keep honing your craft. You'll find, I guess that goes back to the start of that question. What makes a good image is, like, you will find out what you think makes a good image by just honing your craft.
Yeah. And I think seeking feedback is a big one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's a hard thing to do. I was talking to Mika Boynton yesterday, and she's a landscape photographer from Bright in Victoria. She's been on the show before. You can check out Mika's episode for anyone that's interested. Not now, later. But I remember when we interviewed her, she wanted to do landscape photography, and she was up in the Kimberleys teaching at a remote school. And in her after hours and weekends, she would just go out and shoot landscapes around the Kimberleys. But she didn't know how good she was or not, and so she would submit her work to every competition she could. locally and across Australia to get the feedback, not to necessarily to strive for prizes, but it was a great mechanism for her to get feedback on her work, critical, professional feedback that she then built up herself with. She used that as a tool to elevate her own performance and and finesse her craft, and now she's a highly decorated, amazing landscape photographer. And
the other thing, but you also got to be bloody. You can seek feedback. The hard part, and I think what people miss is you've got to be open to receiving it. Yeah. If someone looks at your image and says, "Nah, I don't know," you got to go, okay, and take it on board, and think about it. Yeah. There's if you don't do that, you're never going to actually get better.
Yeah. A little bit of self-awareness goes a long way.
Curtis, do you guys do events at Zen? Do you do events where people can come along and shoot at Zen?
So we do host like an end of month meeting every month. It's generally in Sydney. I try my best. I've only been to 2 in the last year, so but generally it's a good time. Justin and Nick put on a really good event, and same with Dave. I think they're changing locations soon, so I don't know if there's one this month. But getting down to an end of month meet is probably the best way to sort of, if you want to start, I guess. There's always cool cars there. Everyone's really chill. Reggie's always on the barbecue. Shout out, Reggie. You're the MVP.
If there's a barbecue, you just can't go wrong.
It's awesome. Yeah, some of the guys get on the decks. Sometimes we get beer sponsorships, so we just hand out beers.
Nice.
Responsibly, of course.
Sounds like it's up your alley, Dennis.
Well, mate,
beers,
we need to. We should be coming in Melbourne. We should get that RX3. Whoever owns that RX3, mate, it's on your
the lemon. So, funnily enough, that guy actually bought the prints off that car.
Wicked.
My dad building that car for 15 years, and
Curtis, we've mentioned Zen Garage a couple of times. Can you just give us? I've got the site up there for anyone that's watching along. Tell us a little bit, what is Zen Garage and how did you become involved with it?
So Zen was big back in, I'd say, early 2010s. Mm-hmm. Zen was, it actually there was actual location. They were selling T-shirts. They were doing a lot of this, a lot of these automotive groups, automotive posts and doing some, hosting some events and all this kind of stuff. And you'll see some of the end of month meets that they used to have, would fill out car parks, fill out, car parks at Homebush. It was massive. And I sort of had been following along, and it was sort of just an outlet, I think, for Justin to sort of be a bit of a rebel. He comes from a graphic design background, and he sort of liked to break rules and bend norms and things like that. So it was just a lifestyle, anything raw, fun, that took our interest, really. So I guess how I got involved was I noticed that Zen had sort of died off a little bit. I kept in contact with Justin via Facebook. He would post his morning rants, and then one day he posted, "Hey, we're getting Zen Garage back up," and I just instantly reached out and said, "Mate, I followed this as a kid, in my late teens, sort of. I want to be involved. If you're getting it back up, let me know. I'd love to shoot. I'd do it for fun. I don't want to be paid. I love the whole ethos of it. That's sort of how I got involved." And Justin was like, "Hey, I really appreciate you taking the initiative." I just started meeting the guys. And I think 2 years ago at World Time Attack, I met Nick, who's one of the other owners. So we've just been shooting ever since. And they ring me and go, "Hey, do you want to come do this?" Like, "Yep, absolutely, I do. I'll be on a plane," or
Yep.
So it's cool. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun.
All right, mate. You can photograph one car. You get one car and you can photograph it anywhere in the world. What is the car? What is the location? I was lucky enough to do that last year. What's yours?
That's a good. I don't know. I see locations. I don't think of. I sort of try and put a car. I kind of work with what I have. I always have. I haven't actually.
While you're thinking about it. Oh, sorry, go.
A Formula One track. You know, a classic Formula One car going up Eau Rouge.
Yeah.
You know,
oh my
something
Lord.
like that.
Yeah.
What about you, Dan? I know you did the Porsche.
I got to light paint a Le Mans winning 956, and which was pretty wild. I didn't even know. I knew it was going to be there, but I had access to it 24 hours for 3 days, and I got to hang out with the guys while it came off the truck, and they were warming it up and getting it ready pre-event. And then I got to shoot it through the event. But I had access. I was at the Icons of Porsche event in Dubai last year and had 24-hour access to all of the cars. There was me and security through the night. And the Porsche 956 Hunts, it was a 956 and a 356, but it was the Jackie X Le Mans winning car.
Awesome.
I'm an old boy, so
I don't know.
it was pretty wild. And they also had that was, but I'm with you. If it was any car anywhere, it would be a Formula One car, like a real one. I've shot some other stuff, but a real Formula One car, probably a McLaren.
I'm trying to think.
What about
being
you,
a Kiwi,
Jason?
that makes a lot of sense. Maybe like an F40. Maybe an F40.
Oh,
yeah. I've shot. I shot one on my 550D. It's probably another turning moment. I was like, I got to shoot a F40. I overexposed the crap out of the image, and it sucks. But
It's art. It's art.
I got to shoot it.
I keep telling people, just make it black and white, add some grain, call it art.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I did that, and it still looks awful. It's that. So, no. I think if I had my time to pick any car anywhere, it'd be an F40.
Yeah.
Where would I put it though? That's the question.
I've always thought
somewhere like retro, like 80s, like cyberpunk.
Miami. Like Miami
Miami
somewhere with some palms and some shit.
Bit of Miami Vice.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, what
cool
about you, mate? If you had your chance to shoot, a favorite vehicle in an amazing location, what would you opt for?
Well, this is a funny thing. Like, I like really junky stuff to shoot sometimes. This is just like the more unrecognizable, the better. Like my custom Harley doesn't have the word Harley on it, and if people don't know it's a Harley, I don't particularly care. Like it's kind of sort of hidden under it. But I mean, in terms of cars, Dennis, I love the Le Mans, like the really retro ones too, like the 60s Le Mans kind of cars. Put me in a big, dirty, empty warehouse. That's my dream scenario.
Yeah, amazing.
Nice.
Wild.
I'll make it dusty. I'll make beams of light come through. Even just like something with like the skylight with the little beams through. I want to get the beams reflection over the car so you can
Bit of dust to capture the light.
That's my dream. But actually, in terms of shooting vehicles, probably for me, I if it's still, I can shoot it. But Curtis, I really admire a lot of your panning shots a lot, and you talked about how you sort of discovered the love of that. I've done a bit of panning, like moving shots myself. I've hung outside vehicles while someone surfs a Harley across a bumpy country road. Take us through your process, because I'm actually, I think they're great. I think you get a lot of kinetic energy, but at the same time, there's a real nice crispness to the cars. I'd love to hear your process around it.
So it's a lot of trial and error. Luckily, with a lot of the drifting stuff, you can sort of, if they're following the same line, you try different settings, or adjusting your polarizer at certain points so that either the windshield's nice and crisp or the side of the car's nice and crisp, depending on what angle you're standing at. The process is, I get called a machine gun.
Yep.
So literally, I think just trial and error and how you're standing and just following, just getting that follow. You when you get it right, you know you've got it right, and you don't even need to look at the back of the camera. But yeah, I think that's the process is trial and error, shoot as much as possible, and use a polarizer, but adjust the polarizer and get different looks of the car next time they come past.
Great.
Yeah.
Are you often yourself static, or do you often shoot in a follow vehicle?
I shoot mostly just sitting at the side of the track. I'll walk around the whole track. Yeah,
That's
I'd
impressive.
rather.
That's actually a lot harder to do.
I've never had the resources to jump in someone's car, and obviously I'm going to these local events where people are paying good money to spend time on track. They don't want some kid who's in a follow car or something like that while they're trying to practice their craft. You know what I mean? So I just try and get around the track as much as I can, walk around it, do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. But the polarizer thing is something I've not thought much about, so that's great advice.
Yeah, that's
you're both taking that away. I just amazing. One the other day.
You could, as you make it, you can make a car pop, like the paint job look reflective, but you get rid of a lot of the mirror on the side of it. So you'll notice a lot of my shots, the paint looks quite not flat, but it looks consistent.
Clean.
And that's how I achieve that. And sometimes I'll even stack other filters, or I'll have a tripod and then just move the polarizer and just burst while I'm moving the polarizer.
Yep.
So,
oh my goodness.
Wow.
And then I'll merge those all together.
Yeah, wicked.
Yeah, I never really thought about that, about shooting a burst and actually adjusting as you're going. I know Greg Carrick, who's been on the show a couple of times, he was using a variable ND filter to manage his exposure. So he would set the camera how he wanted it, then use the variable. He turned the exposure triangle into an exposure square effectively by adding ND filter to control the light. And he would use that and often do slow shutter work, but use the ND to manage his exposure. Really interesting application. I just want to take a moment just to make a little break in today's discussion, just to remind everyone who's watching and listening along, thank you so much for joining us. If you're new here, please make sure you give us a like if you don't mind. It helps us out a lot. Let's YouTube tell other people about our channel, and subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you'll get notified of all of our upcoming content. The Camera Life podcast airs twice a week, every Thursday morning with a special guest, and every Monday evening, 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We have the Random Photography Show, where we talk shop. Basically, we talk about our craft. We talk about the business of our craft. Every now and then we have panels. We've had Jason on a panel in the past talking about film photography. So, stick around. And the reason why we go live with our podcast is that we love community involvement. We want you guys to ask questions, make comments, get involved in the conversation. So on that note, I'm just going to jump to a couple of comments that we haven't covered yet. Who was I up to? Lisa Leach joined us a little bit earlier. Morning, Lisa. And I think I saw her partner in crime around somewhere. Paul's here. Morning all. G'day, Paul. And what else have we got? Ian Thompson. Good morning, Ian.
Woo! BFOP is soon, mate. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's just rushing up very quick. 8 weeks. Don't stress, Dennis. You'll be fine. Neil Leach. G'day, Neil. Thanks for joining. And then a question for you, Curtis, from Paul. Curtis, will you be photographing cars at Sandown on the weekend?
That's what is that? It's some festival.
Not sure, mate.
But I might shoot down. It's around the corner, so yeah. I actually might, because I did see it pop up on my Instagram or my Facebook or something. I can't remember what it was. It's some festival. And there's going to be some classic cars from memory.
Yep.
Might be fun. I was planning to have a nice chill one without cars this weekend because I haven't done that in a long time.
It's not like you.
Yeah, I know. But yes, I can come down.
Cool. A comment from Neil. You have some awesome images, Curtis. LTK photos, some beautiful work. And again, I try to go to the local car meets when I can. It's amazing to see what people show up with.
Oh yeah.
And what else have we got? From Bum Pudding. When you think about it, it's terrible.
I think I know who that is.
Okay, I obviously know you. A polarizer is incredible, especially when I constantly leave it at home. Yeah, I've done that. And just finally to bring us up to date from JS Hani, we haven't heard from you for a while. Where have you been? I've tried to shoot MotoGP at Phillip Island a few times and usually resorted to manual focus at the apex and then tried to pan at various shutter speeds, but I've never even considered a polarizer. Wow, you're just changing people's lives today, Curtis.
Yeah, you've done a thing, mate.
I don't know. It sort of just fell into my lap. I'm like, oh, take a photo of a car still with a polarizer. Oh, you may as well do it on track and then adjust it to try and get exact. Yeah.
Very clever. And a little comment here from Ian. I volunteer, I think, at a country speedway at night. Footwork and stance is so important for panning.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah. That's really interesting. There was that guy on the podcast a while ago doing endurance stuff in Europe, and I was fascinated listening to him talk about his process around not only the process, but he's shooting it commercially, so he's got to deliver real quick. But we've all done that thing where we burst to do things. But he was talking about coming out the end of a shoot with thousands of images, and thousands of images raw, and how his process of going through it blew me away.
Was that Andrew Hall from Fuji from Australia, or was it Nick?
No, it was Nick. Yeah.
Nick's the UK Motorsport.
Yeah, that was wild. That was really both of those guys are just complete legends. Can I ask you a favor, Curtis?
Mm-hmm.
If I was to come to Melbourne, would you let me make a light painting portrait of you with your race car?
Absolutely.
Cool, done. Lock it in.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, man. It's been
really cool.
Yeah, I've been
like a matchmaker.
Well, I've been trying to get across to Melbourne for ages. I used to go all the time pre-COVID, but I'm trying to line up 5 reasons to go. Lucky Straps is one. I'm going to do some light painting portraits at Lucky Straps, catch up with a couple of mates, and come and see you with your sick little race car. That would be wild. Yeah,
cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm down. Indeed. I love it, and I'd actually love to see your process. I had.
Well, this is the thing.
Haven't seen any of the vehicle stuff, but the ball of light, the light painting.
I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link to some of the Formula One stuff. I think you'll enjoy that, because what I do is I have this process where I shoot. I actually did a presentation on this, like a live in-person presentation the other day for Sony, because I've never really talked about it in any detail, but I broke it down, and it is, I have two, sometimes 3, sometimes 4 cameras, but it's a 2-camera rig where I have a stills camera and a video camera locked in hard next to each other. And while I'm shooting the stills, I'm shooting 100 frame a second video, and then blend the two so that people can see that it's actually real. Like, you can actually see the process of me, me actually light painting it, but always one exposure. And it's really cool. But what part of the motivation for asking to come across is I really like the way you think about how you shoot, what you shoot, your attitude around sharing and teaching and sharing information. And so it would be really remarkable to come across and do that thing, right? Like, because I'd love to see how you work. And it would be cool to show you how I work. And it's a thing. And I would really love to do that.
Yeah, sounds good.
There you go. Stay tuned, folks. Well, hopefully one day we'll see some images soon. So, Curtis, where are you at these days? What sort of work are you generally picking up? Is it, what's the mix? Is it 80% motorsport, or is it different? What else are you shooting?
To keep me I I do. I mean, I do a little bit of weddings, like here and there. I still do that stuff just for a bit of pocket money, so I can spend more on gear,
rims.
So yeah, no, I think in terms of actual jobs I'm doing soon, I'm doing another job for GM. They're sending me a Corvette E-Ray, the new one.
Woo!
That's gonna be cool. So this is one of those ones that I'm really looking forward to, and I have no idea what I'm going to do for it. Their brief was make it very car enthusiast-ish, and send us the photos and we'll pay you for it. And
so it's an electric vehicle, or is it a hybrid?
It's a hybrid turbo V8.
Yeah. Oof. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's like 1,200 horsepower, and I'm like, you sure you want to give me that? I had a chat to the guys at GM, and they were like, "Yep, take it. We want to see what you do with it."
Wow, that's exciting.
That's very cool.
It's one of those things that I'm like, "Ooh, this is actually going to be real. If I could do this for the rest of my life, I would."
So, amazing.
Still early days.
That's the kind of stuff I'm sort of picking up. I'm still going to local events. Like I've got an event at Luddenham next weekend, I believe. So I'll be there I'll be flying in, flying out for Keisei Tsuchiya is actually drifting Luddenham, which of all things, if you know who that guy is, he's the drift king, so to speak. Wow. The founder.
And where's Luddenham, mate? Sorry.
Luddenham's in Sydney. Sorry, apologies, in Western Sydney.
No, that's right.
So I'm going to that. And then, of course, the week after, I'm going to back up to Sydney for World Time Attack at Sydney Motorsport Park, and that's a big one. So
yeah, so tell us about that event. What does that involve?
So this one's it's my favorite event of the year. It's like all the coolest, fastest race cars come from all over the world: Japan, US, Australia, New Zealand, and they slam around Sydney Motorsport Park, and they say you can get the fastest lap, and that's all it is. That's
so there's no class breakdown, or
there's plenty of class breakdowns and stuff like that. You know, there's hypercar, there's club sprint, there's open, there's unlimited, there's a bunch of different classes, but it's the whole concept is you go out and you try and set the fastest lap in the allotted time. That's all it is.
Wild.
And so you're going as a driver or a photographer or both?
No, I'm going as a photographer. I don't think I have the credentials for that one yet.
No, you don't think your little Civic can make it up the hill?
There actually are some Civics competing, so I'll have you know.
I'm sorry, mate. I tease. I am sorry.
It's fine. I'm just being silly.
My first car was a Toyota Corolla that had more rust than metal. So, you know, I'm not a car guy.
Mine was a Starlet of all things. So same deal.
Whoa. Your first car was a Starlet?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Mark 1 is.
Let me jump to the chat. There's a question here from JS Honey. Tech question. And for Jason, JS Honey, I'm pretty sure he rides a Ducati at the moment, although I don't think that's the picture in his profile. Sorry, tech question. Are you shooting mechanical shutter, or have readouts become so good that electronic shutter with high frame rates become viable?
So, yes. I'm not a big gear kind of guy. Actually, no, I am. That's how I met Greg. I'm running a Nikon ZF. I use a 24 megapixel camera that is 15 frames a second. That's all I use. Mechanical. I don't trust electronic shutter just yet. However, we did pitch to Nikon Australia to try and get some gear for World Time Attack, and I would really like to try the Z9 and how that works. But I'm just using basically a base model Z50, Z6 III, but yeah, it's mechanical shutter only for now. I think electronic readouts have become good enough. I just don't trust it yet.
Yep. Fair enough. What about you, Jason?
In terms of question? I've tried electronic shutter shooting a lot of moving stuff, and it's weird. You get like a head here, the front of the bike here. It can be fun, but I actually love the idea of global shutters in cameras. I welcome it, you know. But it's not that readily available yet, and because like there are sometimes where I would love to shoot high speed stuff at f1.4, like just let's try it. But like it's unless you're got some variable ND stacked in front of it, it's nearly impossible. And like bum pudding, I often forget my polarizing filter or my neutral density filter, because I like to travel light, you know. So
Yeah,
actually,
Yes.
Greg, you'll enjoy this. When I was up in Brisbane shooting with BMW for their motorcycle launch, I shot with my X Pro 2. So that's an 8-year-old camera,
oh gosh, I love you,
Good
Jason.
camera.
and
you've got one too,
it
Curtis, haven't
held
you?
up.
I have a.
Yeah,
I still shoot my XT1. I love my XT1.
but you've got an
Yeah,
X Pro 2, haven't you?
No, I've
must
only
be
got the
XT.
XT.
Okay.
XT1 and all the rest of film cameras or Instax cameras.
And Jason, you're happy with the outcome? Client was happy with the outcome, or
Honestly, half the shots I used were the JPEGs, and I
so
just
cool.
love that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you nail the exposure, it's got this character to it. I don't know if people ever even see my account. It's Jason L Photos. So I got Jason Lau Photos as my fashion word. Jason L Photos is the motor stuff that I shoot. But like I love it, and it's, you know, like I sort of inspired by my press photographer friends who shoots a lot of press stuff. He goes, I mostly just shoot JPEGs too, because it's just it's pretty good. And I that's if you're not enjoying the JPEGs on a Fuji, then why are you shooting a Fuji?
Very good point.
This is why I moved to Nikon, because I ended up just using my XH2 in RAW all the time, and I'm like,
are you okay for me to bring up some of your shots, Jason?
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Yeah, dude. That's I've just your bike stuff is sublime.
Cool.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, man, just sublime.
But
and the diverse range of styles that you managed to nail are just incredible. Like, and I especially love some of the angles that you shoot stuff from. You know, often I'll see a shot of yours pop up on my feed, and it literally pops because you've chosen an angle and a composition that just doesn't feel typical, but it's just as compelling. You know, and on the screen now is a classic example of that.
Yeah.
You know, you're obviously on the ground.
I've been dreaming of that shot for years. It's actually got my wife to sort of angle the camera up, because like that's actually me in that photo, and it's just the willingness to find someone else to sort of.
Oh, that's you! You didn't even take the photo.
Yeah, that's actually me.
Hack.
But... Mate, that Jason, that 356 photo on your feed is in studio. That is gorgeous, man.
Thank you. That's light. That's light painted.
Well, there you go. See, maybe that's why it pops, because it's, you know, it's done properly.
I can feel another collaboration coming on.
Oh my God! Look, I was lucky enough to meet Rene Staud, who is the greatest Porsche. Well, I don't know. He's the guy when it comes to Porsche photography. He was at this event I was at last year, and we connected quite deeply, actually, before and after the event. But he was like the OG of studio lighting Porsche images, and it made me think of him when I saw that. And so that's a thing. Just,
definitely a thing. Let me just jump to a couple of comments that have popped up. So this is from Bum Pudding, who I'd love to know your real name. Where are you? Where are you watching this from? Give us some.
Right
give us some
behind
hints.
you.
Yeah. Don't. I find with my Sony, you have to use mechanical shutter, otherwise the rolling shutter effect ruins photos. With any form of artificial lighting or panning. So there you go. Sage advice. Jim is in the chat. G'day, Jim. Slacker. Did he say Nikon? How did you let him on the Fujifilm podcast, Greg? But he also has a Fujifilm camera, Jim. So that's why I let him on.
Massive Fujifilm nerd.
And also his Nikon. It's, you know, it actually looks like a Fujifilm camera anyway. So I made an exception on this occasion.
I actually posted. I don't know if you remember, Greg. When I bought it, I taped over Nikon and I wrote Fuji in. Like,
you did too, yeah.
That is hilarious.
I posted to the Fuji X group. I was like, "Hey guys, check out my new camera."
And JS Hanny, sorry, my mistake, but no, the old photo was a Triumph Sprint 955. It's currently laid up with a blown head gasket. Have you still not fixed that? And the daily ride is the, how do you pronounce that, Jason? Guzzi?
Yep.
Guzzi?
That's
V85
right.
TT.
Mm-hmm.
And another comment here from LTK Photo. Love my X Pro 2 with the XT2. Yeah, I agree. The X Pro 2 was a phenomenal entry for Fujifilm. And when I went to the launch for the X Pro 3 in Sydney, and don't get me wrong, stunning camera, but it was more of a marginal upgrade from the X Pro 2 than anything. And the thing that Fuji was selling with that X Pro 3 was the new body finishes. So they had this Duratec? It was this anti-scratch. Well, there were two coatings. There was a magnesium coating, magnesium top plate with a coating, and you could get an additional coating, which was like an extra $500 or $600 from memory, to make it scratch resistant. And so they launched that X Pro 3 at too high a price. And unfortunately, then COVID hit, and it all sort of fell into it. Well, and they haven't released a version 4. And I got to say, I can't blame them. I reckon the X Pro 3 really hurt them, especially with COVID. Yeah. Anyway, we'll wait and see what comes up. I know nothing, by the way, about
the
an X Pro 4.
XE5 is well good enough. I love that camera. I kind of want to buy another, like a 40 megapixel sensor Fuji. I think they were just awesome.
Well, I just got my first, not my first Fuji, obviously, but my first one that I actually own, 40 megapixel Fujifilm. I got the XE5.
Yeah, it's such a good camera.
Oh, it's just beautiful. I love it. So let's talk gear a little bit. So you're shooting motorsports with the Nikon.
Yep.
And what sort of lenses are you working with?
I'm working with 2 lenses. I'm working with a 70-200 and a 50mm f1.4, and that's it.
Oh, nice. Oh, really? You don't go any wider?
Nope. Look, I have.
Yeah.
I actually, I hate to admit it, but I also have a A7 III workhorse that just has a 60, or what is it, a 16 to
35.
16, what is it? Oh, I can't remember. It's some zoom lens, and it literally, like, I only use it for the wide end if I'm getting close up, and I barely use that camera. But it's still, I bring it with me everywhere just in case. But the amount I get done is mostly with a 50 and a 70-200.
Nice.
That's really nice. It's a really streamlined kit.
Less is more, right? Less is more.
Yeah, true. Jason, what sort of kit do you usually rock with when you're shooting bikes?
Well, actually, so for the Brisbane trip, there was the X Pro 2 with the 23 f2 and my 56-1.2. That 56-1.2 is
I still have my
magical lens. And
it's one of the best lenses ever made.
Everything.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous piece of glass.
And I actually got asked that a while back, like what kind of lenses do I shoot bikes with? And a lot of new photographers tend to want to go wide angle and nice and close because it feels very dynamic. But for me, a motorcycle looks best around that sort of 56 or 85 mil equivalent because everything feels a bit more compact. You get to see it more as a whole rather than a stretched out bits. And I think it's aesthetically more beautiful.
Yeah. I tried a 40 mil for a while. Just the little 40 mil f2 that came on the Nikon. I feel like I got some okay images with it, but it just felt awkward. Even though it's just that 10 mil, it just felt awkward.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of developing your eye. We talked about, I think, Dennis, you called it seeing the light earlier. Actually, when you told that story, it reminded me of when I was at sort of the peak of my street photography period, we'll call it, because I'm currently trying to reinvent myself. But when I was at the peak and I was shooting, obviously only shooting Fujifilm, and I shot everything I shot RAW plus JPEG, but the film sim I always had on was classic chrome. which is based on a Fujifilm, old Fujifilm film stock. And I was out with my camera so much that it got to a point where I was starting to feel like I was seeing the world in classic chrome. I knew which parts of an image, what colors would pop with classic chrome.
Yeah.
And you know, and it just, my eye just saw the world in classic chrome and how that would look, you know, and it's an interesting time in a creative journey when you realize that you get it.
Yeah.
You
when
know,
you see it, that's it.
When you see it, yeah.
Like I did India last year with the Q3, which is 28 mil fixed, and my fantasy camera for that. So all my automotive stuff is 50 and 85 mainly. But my fantasy camera for my next to head back to the streets of India is would be a monochrome 43 Q3. And I love that idea of, you know, you're talking about, I love putting all my cameras onto black and white simulation so that I'm trying to teach myself how to see in black, and all my favorite photography books are all classic black and white stuff. But that 43 is they like to say that is the that's what the eye sees. So that 50-43 type zone. But yeah, I would love a monochrome camera at that focal length.
They haven't made a monochrome even for the 28mm version of the Q3, have they yet?
Not yet. No. But
are there rumors about it?
I don't know. I don't look. I imagine it is. All I know is that I'm gonna sell my left hand to get one. I'm gonna chop it off here and donate it as a so that I can.
I think what you should do is just get like a plug when you sell your hand, a plug with a standard tripod mount, and you can just. Yeah, I think that's
that's
could
it.
Go wrong.
But no, that's I think the 28 is nice. It's pretty wide though. But all the car stuff, I'm with you guys. 50, because when you look at a bike or a car, right? If it's that weird sort of stretched, distorted thing, how are you respecting the design of the vehicle? You know, they put an astonishing amount of time and energy and effort into designing these vehicles so that they're aesthetically pleasing to the eye. And as soon as you go away from that, you know, mainly wider, shit just gets weird. And I think, I mean, I grew up with car magazines, like just shelves of car magazines, and that's my reference.
And just for the kids watching along at home, a magazine is a print product that has pictures and words on paper.
Actually, I used to publish I found this the other day. I used to publish a magazine about my light painting.
Wow. That's cool.
Like actual paper magazine, and we would ship those all over the world.
That's cool. That's really
that
cool.
was really cool. Yeah.
I miss magazines. I tried to subscribe to a couple recently. One called Hornet. I think it's a Melbourne-made one. Anyone heard of Hornet?
No.
It's advertisement free. So this lady publishes the magazine, and it's ad free, I believe, from memory. But I miss magazines. I remember going to my nan's. I was fascinated going to my nan's, and she had stacks and stacks of the National Geographic, you know, the yellow.
My gosh, yeah.
Oh, and every time I went there, it just called to me. You know, this huge stacks of yellow magazines, because there was just so much good stuff in them. And I know that Nat Geo is still going. I'm well aware of that. But I miss that magazine era. I think it's a shame. Where were we? We were talking about gear. Oh, there's some comments about gear. LTK Photo. Love Max Pro 2 with XT2, both cracking cameras. JS Haney, the Pro 2s have proven more reliable than the Pro 3s. I don't know. The Pro 3s are just a bit of an enigma. You know, they just didn't quite take, and they're still very
Japan made though as well.
Oh, that makes no difference. Don't be like that. No, it does. But the Pro 3, it's just a bit of an enigma in the range. putting dreams about an X Pro, and also that the A7 III
A7 mentioned, yeah.
he
That's
calls it his beloved.
I don't even have it on my shelf. I don't like to advertise it. It's a good workhorse, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Are you ashamed of your Sony camera there, Curtis?
No, I love it. No, don't get me wrong. I do love it. It's just it's one of those cameras that I think everyone's owned at one point.
Yeah.
And it's just a tool. It's that camera doesn't invoke any emotion when I shoot
that's
it.
interesting. Hey,
Yeah.
They're my workhorse. Sony is my workhorse cameras. A7 but mainly video. So I shoot a mountain of like low light video, obviously with my light painting. So A7S III, I've got 2 of them. But yeah, Sonys are my workhorse. But you're right, they're like the taxi. They're the thing that you just is solid. You know is going to get it. But when I was walking around in the Flinders last weekend, and I had an Olympus and a Leica over my shoulder, 2 kind of extreme ends of the thing, and both of them were making wildly stunning images.
Yeah.
But that's when I want to have fun.
Yep, that's a fair call. Another comment here from Neil. Curtis, did you ever get the opportunity to photograph Ken Block in action?
No way. Tell that story.
I think I did. I'll need to go back to
the mate. On your feed, you've got a photo of oh my god, how hilarious! Now, of old
Mad
mate
Mike
from New Zealand, Mad Mike. You got a photo of Mad Mike.
I've photographed him more times than I've had warm dinners. I love him. Mate, he's so much fun.
What a legend of a human.
Yeah, he's sick. Ken Block. Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think he ever came to Australia for World Time Attack. And if he did, I probably have a snap of it somewhere.
Yeah.
But it probably would have been on a Canon 550D.
I don't know the person, so who's Ken Block?
Ken Block was a rally legend who sort of blew up car culture in America with the whole Hoonigan brand, and sort of made his rally career into a very marketable brand, and became a legend by doing some of the most crazy cinematic drifting through streets of X city. Any city you can think of besides Sydney, because we banned him. Any city you can think of, he's probably drifted through it, and he's made a cinematic about it. So, and they're really well shot. So yeah, I think they're called. If you have a look, they're called Gymkhana. If you look up Gymkhana Ken Block, you'll find some cinematic masterpieces.
Very cool. Now I have a local 2-part question for you, Curtis. Years ago, with my late wife, she was from Canberra. We went there and we accidentally, unknowingly, booked our time there because her family was there at the same time as summer nats. So my question to you is, have you photographed summer nats, and did you feel uncomfortable being the only person with a full set of teeth?
No, I haven't actually done summer nats. However, there's a girl who I know who shoots for Street Machine, Ash. Her work is amazing, and she shoots summer nats. She loves it. She absolutely loves it. Just burnout cars. She does burnout cars. Yeah. I don't see the appeal. I mean, it's pretty bogan. But I love it. I think it's cool. It's not really one of those ones on my list. If I get asked to shoot, of course I will. Yeah. But not for me.
All right. Very good. Another question here from LTK Photo. So Curtis, do you print your work?
I do. I actually do. Do I have any prints here? No, I don't have any in this room. Are the prints in the room with you right now? No. So I do, but I just bought myself like a little Epson A3 printer, and that's how I print my stuff.
Wicked.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yep. Sometimes I'll go to Kmart and just buy a couple of $12 frames, put them in there. Just for me. People have asked me, and I've spent the money on decent frames and glass finishes and stuff like that, and got it printed properly. But 99% of the time, I print for myself, and I think the cupboard downstairs is just dusty old prints of mine. So I actually really enjoy the whole printing process, because when you see your work out in front of you physically, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting process, and Justin has just, I don't know if he's had a chance to use it yet because it arrived and then he pretty much left for New Zealand. He's just gotten a new Canon printer. I think it's A2 maybe. Anyway, and talking about the cost of it, it's just crazy. And obviously if you're going to print and frame stuff to give to clients, that's a whole nother expense, but it's a whole process because there's all color correction and making sure you're getting it right for print. It's not as simple as getting it right to show on a phone screen that big. It's a very different process that actually takes some effort and understanding and knowledge to achieve it. But having said that, we always here, whenever we talk about printing, we always recommend people go out and just print some of your shots, 4x6, 5x7.
Awesome.
It doesn't matter what they are. It will just help you to appreciate your images in a different way.
Absolutely.
So,
if you have friends and you have old prints, like, give them to them. Like, give them your prints. Like, I find that's the coolest thing. My actually, one of the first ever things my mate printed was this photo. And it's so dusty and it's in like a little like terrible frame, but it looks faded and warped and stuff. But this was the first ever thing I think I printed, and that was from my old A6300, and it's ratty as crap, and I love it. Yep. And my friend actually took the photo on my camera, set it up for me. He goes, "Oh, this is it was
that's cool."
And so I printed it out, and I actually was meant to give that to him, and I think I did, and then he moved in with me for a little bit, and then he left it.
He's telling you something there.
Oh no, he's one of the main reasons why I picked up a camera as well. So, or continued to pick up a camera.
Amazing. Kurt, have you seen the guy? There's a guy I think in America who goes around and he finds cool cars, and he has this rig where he'll shoot the car, and he has one of those little printers, and he prints, he processes it, prints it, puts it in a bag with a little thing, and leaves it under the windscreen wiper. Just such a great idea.
That's really cool. I've been following a street photographer / portrait photographer who does that. I think they're in the UK. No, Italy. They're in Italy, and they'll find compelling people on the streets. They'll take a shot. Got a printer in his bag. I think it's like a Canon selfie, and he's got all these cheap little frames, and he just frames it and hands up to them and says, "I took this shot of you."
Well, that's what I'm doing with the Instax. That thing, the default with the Instax. The original idea for that, and that's what this is leading into, is the idea of being in the street with one of those Instaxes and doing a light painting portrait of someone, and then printing out and putting a sticker on the back with a link, but sign it and give it to them, and they get it on the spot. They get to experience a light painting portrait, and it's literally only ever one of one. And so a similar idea of that, this idea of having something physical in your hand that is a photograph.
How do you set the shutter speed on your Instax, or are you using like a?
I haven't done it. I haven't done it yet, but there's one, because that's the challenge, of course, is that it needs to be a long exposure, right? And there's an Instax blah blah mini blah blah 90 something or rather that has bulb mode, and so it has bulb mode. So that's the one. So it has bulb mode, and I can do 10 seconds, which is all I need to do a portrait. There is a wide. I like the idea of there's a wide one, but but you got to go to a Lomo, or there's a lomography body.
Yeah, my partner just got that, the Lomo wide glass. So she got the glass lens version.
That's it. But I want Fuji to send me a box of 200 films for BFOP and a couple of cameras. So I'll be sticking with that for now.
Let me know if you need contacts with Fuji, because
I've got Matt's.
Obviously, I'm on the payroll. So.
I'll send you the pitch document.
Keen to see it. That'd be great. Yeah. Bit of an update here from Slacker Jim at Lucky Straps. I jest, Jim. You're not a slacker. I know you're working very hard. It's still in the box, Greg. We're talking about Justin's printer. He wants to milk a few more what's in the box segments on the Monday Night Random show. It was just a prop to begin with. It's probably an empty box, Jim. There's probably nothing in it. But Very cool. Well, look, I am conscious of time, and I wanted to get a quick update from each of you about what you're up to and what's on the horizon. So, Jason, can I start with you? What's going on in your photography world at the moment? I see you've been testing out some gear recently.
Yeah, I've got some very fun gear to test coming up. I'm not sure how much I can say about it, but I'm currently playing with the Fuji GFX 100 RF. That's been a gorgeous camera to shoot with. I did some fashion stuff with that last week. I love it. It makes me think differently, and that's very exciting. Like,
it is.
If a piece of equipment in your hand can alter your brain chemistry, I think it's a very powerful thing. So even just I've been shooting with that just on the X-Pan format. Like, I call it the anti-Instagram shot. Like, it's completely useless on Instagram, but I absolutely love framing with it, because when you've got a thin frame, you start to see a line through a composition that you don't see on a regular frame. Like, you start to connect the dots between foreground, middle ground, background. You start to see relationships differently, or you just start to see patterns differently. And I'm absolutely loving that. I'm looking forward to
question on that. Sorry, Jace, to interrupt you. Just quick question on that. Have you shot any portraits or fashion vertically in that format?
Well, that's kind of what I want to start trying. Have a little experiment with that. And just shooting wide angle. But even if you don't like it as a wide angle, when you punch in on 100 megapixel shot quite heavily, you still got a 24 megapixel shot. It's astounding what you can get out of that. And if you're just shooting for, web, you can go even harder in it. But actually, the challenge I enjoy is, I think we tend to favor sort of out of focus backgrounds sometimes as a bit of a crutch. Like, as in, like, if I shoot it at f1.4, the person's eyes are sharp, background's out of focus, it's all very nice and romantic. But like, when you have to take into account that the background's a bit more in focus, you think differently as well. And you start to appreciate, creators like Steven Spielberg, who would shoot deep focus image, wide angle deep focus. And all of a sudden you go, oh, I can actually tell a story through my frame, through the depth of my frame as well, rather than just focusing on the middle subject. So I'm really enjoying the way these cameras shoot. I'm going to have a play with the new Ricoh GR4 that just got announced today, and I just saw the announcement, so I'm allowed to at least say that exists now.
I got the email this morning. I was like, ooh,
same, yeah.
And the thing I love about
all of us street shooters have all gotten a bit excited over it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to specifically use that as a fashion camera, because I think there's a lot of scope there. There's a new lens on that, so I really want to test the sharpness of that. But I also like the idea of, that's my 28mm lens. It actually edits really well, because I shoot Sony for a lot of my fashion work, and I can leave my 85 on my Sony, and if I need a wide, I'll just pull the Ricoh out and I'll shoot that instead. Just pull it. Here's the other shot. Here's a wide angle option. Here's my tele option. I did that with the previous Ricoh, and I really enjoyed shooting them together. I thought it was an excellent pairing. It actually takes up less room than the 28mm lens.
That's incredible. I think that I'm excited for the GR4. It's certainly a camera that I have had my eye on for a long time. I want to get one to test it and review it for Lucky Straps, but I think it'd be a very, very interesting street photography experience with a camera like that. My concern is that, as we saw with kind of the second half of the GR3's lifespan, stock issues, like, you just couldn't find them anywhere. And I mean, and they brought out how many different versions of the GR3? Like, they had the core version, and then they had is it HCF? Something like
HDF, something like that.
That's right. Yeah. So they brought out that, and then they brought out the street, a diary edition, and another one, and then they brought out the different focal distances as well. So there was like 7 SKUs for essentially a camera that you couldn't get any of the SKUs of anywhere, and it felt almost like Ricoh had spread themselves too thin on the SKU front. and producing that many different, I mean, I'm sure the body, like there's lots of consistent elements, but there's still different assembly processes for each of the different models and different parts, and I wonder whether that kind of throttled the ability to get product out quick. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with the GR4, whether they're going to go with, a big variety of bodies, or whether they're going to trim it down and make sure they actually deliver on the core product, and know that they can before branching out into all the fancy versions, which, I'm all for. I think it's great. It adds style and a different aesthetic to the camera. I liked the Street Edition when it came out because it had the nice orange highlights on things. But it'd be interesting to see. And anything else coming up for you, Jason?
That's mostly it. Just doing some camera testing, and that's really fun. Just had an amazing fashion day yesterday with Australian Style Institute. So we train stylists on how to style for editorial photography. So that's always a really fun experience shooting that. So I'm really enjoying the education space as well.
Nice, very nice. And you're a natural educator as well, so I'm glad to hear that you're still enjoying that. So, Dennis, what have you got on at the moment?
Oh my Lord,
for you?
Well, mate, I am very much in a transition phase at the moment. So my commercial video and photography business is coming to a bit of pretty natural and structured end at the end of this year, because I've nearly finished my study for my new career, which is in counselling. So I'm going into that my photography forever has always been about mental health, and so I'm formalizing that. So I'll be working as a counsellor from January, and so my commercial work is dialing down. But what's really exciting for me is that means that my light painting and all the stuff that happens in this room here is going to be ramping up again. By the nature of studying pretty hard this year, my YouTube channel has kind of come to a bit of a screech, and things like I still have my GFX 100 S2 camera review is still on the timeline, and that's been there for 6 months. So back into teaching, sharing, making work in the studio, but mainly just around making tutorial videos and stuff. I'm leaning way back into that, which is super exciting, because that's the stuff I enjoy. And of course, BFOP.
Yes.
Yep, that date is screaming up. I've planned my workshops. I know what I'm doing for workshops, and I'm just trying to work on this world record attempt that we're going to do on the main stage, which is we're going to attempt to make as many light painting portraits as we can in 1 hour. And it'll be on the main stage in the main room. And at the moment, I would like it to be on the Instaxes so that they're live and hard copy. And I think we could probably do somewhere between 120 and 160 portraits in 1 hour. Full light painting, hand lit people, and then some zhuzhing. So that'll be a huge amount of fun.
Nice. And just a question for you, Dan. Is there an existing world record?
No, this would be about 12 years ago, I did this thing where I wanted to see how many ball of lights I could create in one image, and I did something like 63, and that blew up. It got to the point where teams of people were in paddocks in America doing hundreds, and then a mate of mine in India did like many hundreds. But no, there isn't. The Guinness Book of World Records does have the ability for me to do a very short turnaround application so that we then make it formal. But at the end of the day, mate, it's just, you know what BFOP's like. It's just going to be an opportunity for me to just go completely loopy for an hour on stage and just have a mountain of fun and laughter. And I'll be getting people to turn up with the most stupid thing they could possibly wear. Of course, Mr. Nick Fletcher, the first thing he said is there a record for how many nude light painting portraits you can do in an hour? And I said, no, but me nude or them? I think he wants to just see me in my undies again.
Yeah. Well, you do like to get your kid off often, to be fair.
I don't mind getting a bit nude, mate. That's for sure. But no, look,
and it wouldn't be BFOP without a little bit of nudity at some
it
point.
would not be BFOP without a bit of nudity. But I'm really looking. It's going to be a big BFOP this year. And I'm super. And of course, you and I are working on a nugget of an idea, which I think is going to bring an element to the festival that I think is really beautiful and needed, and that's all around mental health as well. So but the last thing is this here. When you've made it when you get to co-host the Camera Life podcast. So today's has been a real thrill for me. I'm normally just mincing about in the comments, but no, I feel what about and how nice to be on the screen with two really, really lovely guys who make nice images. I feel, and you as well, Greg.
I was wondering which of the two of the three, Dennis. Thank you. Oh, thanks for that update, mate. And Curtis, anything else that's coming up for you in the anything that you're excited about, or anything that's stirring around in that brain of yours? Any ideas you want to share?
Just that Corvette. I'm looking forward to that Corvette. Oh, actually,
that's going to be massive.
I need to plug this. And a few mates who are. Hold on. We actually got as many sort of grassroots motorsport automotive photographers together as we could, and we mashed all the photos up into a book, and it's called Manual Focus. And I need to plug it because I keep forgetting to plug it.
Is there a website for it?
Grant. What was that? Sorry.
Is there a website for it?
I don't know. No, there's no website. However, there's an event. We're going to host an event, and we're going to slap a bunch of cool cars in a warehouse and have a bunch of like printed out artworks and displays of all the photographers.
Light painting portrait booth, mate, in the corner.
Well, we'll have the Corvette there, so we could do something cool there. Let me find the link because
cool.
If you're in Melbourne, and you want to come look at some cool car photos and meet some of the most degenerate individuals you'll ever meet. Where do I put it? Is there a chat?
You had me at degenerate.
Yeah, you can put it in the down on the bottom right. There should be a button for private chat. Can you see that? Yeah.
Yes.
Just pop it in there.
Wow.
So apart from that, private chat. Sorry, I can't find it. Am I silly? Oh, private chat. I do see that.
Yeah.
Cool.
There we go.
Yeah, that's what's coming up for me.
Let me share this to everyone.
I do not have Facebook. That is so cool. I'm so proud of that.
It's a dying breed.
You'll have to send me a screenshot of that.
A celebration of automotive culture, Manual Focus, Saturday, September the 13th. So in 3 weeks, Big House Arts, Coburg North. And what have we got in here?
It's down the road.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. I'll send you the deets, Dan.
I'm going to be in Melbourne on the following week, actually, for the first. But that sounds like an amazing event.
Yeah.
Should be really fun. Cool. I'm really looking forward to it. And it's just a bunch of guys that, do the exact same thing as I do. They just walk around a track and take photos or, just love cars.
Amazing.
Oh, and Bum Pudding has said he's talking about me.
Yeah.
Degenerates. Yeah. Good.
Very cool. As for what's happening here at the Camera Life podcast and with Lucky Straps, so Justin and Yelena are still away. They're away for another week. I think they come back on the 27th. So they'll be back for their first show back on the 28th. Jim's busy getting straps ready for customer orders, which is and he's doing that solo at the moment because the others are slacking off in New Zealand. And Camera Life podcast, we've been really busy here. We've been interviewing. We're official media partners, one of the media partners for the BFOP Bright Photography Festival event coming up in October of this year. Justin and I went last year just to check out the lay of the land, and we're so glad we did because we've met countless amazing people who have become friends. Dennis is a prime example of that. Just looking forward to that event. But we've been interviewing every BFOP workshop instructor, doing some little short form audio only podcast interviews so that anyone that's looking at booking a BFOP workshop can actually have a listen to the interview, learn a little bit about the instructor, learn a lot more about the workshop, so what you're getting into. So if you're going to BFOP, join the BFOP Groupies Facebook page, because all the info will be on there. And we're looking forward to being a big part of that festival, community photography culture festival. It's very hard to describe. We're certainly looking forward to it. Hey, Jason, have you ever been to a BFOP, or has it ever tempted you?
Nope, never been to one.
Oh, we have to get you there.
Yeah, you'd be, mate. You would. It feels like you feel like a BFOPper. That's for sure.
Bring it on.
And of course, Curtis, we now know Curtis is a complete degenerate, so you'll fit in, mate. That's like a prereq for being for going up there to teach. That's for sure.
Yeah,
bring it on.
Let me just wrap up quickly with a couple of comments from the chat. What do we got? JS Hanny here. If I can get my mouse to work. I think the extreme resolution of the Fuji RF, so that's the GFX 100 RF, offers really good 65-24 ratio abilities.
It literally has that setting in there. You can just turn the dial to that.
Yeah. And how do you find that feature while we're on it? Because I know when it first came out, a lot of reviewers were saying, it's a gimmick. It doesn't make sense. Why would you put that on there? What are your thoughts on it, mate? Real world user.
It's exactly why I want to use it. It's exactly for that. Because people say you can crop, but that's totally different to framing. If you see your frame that way, you understand why you want it. If you crop afterwards, you actually don't take the shot that's necessary for that kind of framing. So just about, it's like I said, with that 100 megapixel, I've just, between scrolling through the ratios and even just digitally zooming in, it's like I have a whole kit of options at my fingertips without having to think about bringing any more equipment. So
and that's really compelling, isn't it? I've always loved that, and I've always encouraged people to give it a shot when they say that they're in a rut, because I'm kind of a walk out the door with the camera in my hand guy. I've got the camera, the lens that's on it, got a spare battery in my pocket. I put on my AirPods and some music, and off I go. And the GFX 100 RF, like the X100 Fuji camera, it just offers that all-in-one opportunity, and you make it work. Like you said.
I was contemplating taping my screen on the back of my Sony to get that aspect ratio, because I was so desperate to shoot that way. Yeah. And now that I have it, I realized that in a sense my instincts were right. Like, if you can see it, you approach the shot totally differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Very well said.
I've got the adapter for my Fuji GW 690, which I haven't used yet. The 3D printed adapter to put it in that aspect ratio, and you can use 35mm on it instead of 120 film.
Oh wow!
So I want to give that a whirl.
Oh, good.
That's cool.
And then you get the sprockets in your print as well.
Nice. Very nice. Back to the comments. Get off my digital lawn, Tony. Is paying for his guilt. Sorry, I'm late, Greg. Wanted to see this live. That's okay, mate. It'll be on YouTube forever. I don't know if you've heard how the internet works, but we appreciate your contribution to the fund. Jim apparently has something to say. If Greg didn't book so many co-hosts, I would have jumped on today. You see what I've done here, Jim? It's a long game. The boss is away. I've squeezed you out with other co-hosts. I'm finally going to make this the Fujifilm podcast. That's been my plan all along. Tony has said, "Shh, Jim, back to work." And Philip Johnson. Oh, it's a farewell. It's many thanks, gents. Good show. Special thanks to Curtis. Nev Clark is in the chat. G'day, Nev. Sorry for the late joining of the show. You need to pay a fee for that, Nev, apparently. Just talk to Tony. Sorry for the late joining of the show. I have been up in Exmouth, flying in airplanes and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. We'd love to get you back on at some stage, Nev, to look at some of your recent work. I've been chatting with him over the course of the last couple of weeks, and yeah, he's working on some amazing stuff, which I'd love to share with everybody. But look, on that note, I think we might wrap. We smack on the 2-hour mark. First and foremost, I want to thank our guest today, Curtis. When I floated this actually, it was at the Fujifilm Alpaca event that I first hit. I got him to look away from eBay long enough from buying rims to Facebook Marketplace. Sorry, mate. To invite him onto the show, and he said yes, and we're glad that you did, mate. It's been absolutely fascinating conversation. You know, you've taught 2 seasoned professionals.
I learned an awesome
something today, and I think you know, for me, and I've often said this to Justin and Jim, that you know, if we inspire someone to try something different, or we inspire someone to get out of a rut, or we teach someone new here at the something new here at the Camera Life, then we've done our job and we've won the day. So thank you very much for helping us fulfill that brief today, and we look forward to more of your exciting work in the future.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no, absolutely. And you're stuck with us now. You're alumni, and we're just going to hound you every day. But obviously, of course, the show wouldn't have gone ahead without co-hosts, because Jim was slack. We'll just stick with that story. First and foremost, Dennis Smith, thank you so much for joining today, mate. Always a blast to have you on.
Pleasure.
Love your energy, love your work, and we're looking forward to seeing what we can achieve in Bright in 8 weeks. Yeah, sorry to scare everyone that's waiting for BFOP, but it is only like 8 weeks away. And of course, Jason Lau, thank you once again, mate. Great to have you back on, as always. Really appreciate your contribution and insights today, and helping me keep this show moving along when everyone else has deserted me. I'm not bitter at all.
Anytime, Greg, anytime.
But on that note, folks, thank you obviously to everyone who's watching and listening along, whether it be now, live with us here, and making comments and asking questions and being wise asses. But if you're watching this later, please leave a comment. Let us know who you are, what you shoot, where you're from. Make sure you hit the like button, because by doing so, it tells Facebook to tell other people that this is worth watching. Make sure you also subscribe and tickle the bell notification. And it wouldn't be right to end the show without thanking our sponsor, Lucky Straps. Head to luckystraps.com if you're looking for a premium Aussie-made, handmade leather camera strap for your kit today. So head there. But on that note, I'm going to hopefully play the right music. We'll give this another shot, and we'll say goodbye to some people. Lisa Leach and Neil, thank you, Jim, for showing up. Tony, JS Honey, Bum Pudding.
Thanks, Bum Pudding.
Thanks, Bum Pudding. I'm going to use that one. Ian Thompson, John Pickett. Who else? We've got Paul Henderson, Philip Johnson, Nick Fletcher's been in and out. But yeah, thank you to everybody. I'm sorry if I've missed anyone. But LTK. I think that's about it. Oh, and Craig. Yeah, thanks, guys. This has been the Camera Life Podcast. We'll see you Monday night.
Legends.
Bye, everybody.
Have a beautiful day.